So we had to start off, Jenny and I had this basically cargo van that was not fancy by any stretch. Like we didn't even have windows in it outside the passenger and driver windows. Like we didn't have time to put a fan in. So it was very rudimentary. So she was cooking on a camp stove, 2-burner. We had an old cooler that I thought, oh yeah, this old cooler will work fine. Like we didn't really have things dialed in that sense. I just wanted to keep it simple and we're just going to go for it. And Jenny's not the cook. So I'm usually the cook at home. And so she was like role reversal here. And she was the one who's ending up cooking meals for me and making smoothies. We did have a solar panel installed. And so we had power. So she could blend smoothies and make really dense food. I mean, the big thing when I was out there, I was eating probably, I'm sure a lot of the medical experts would say this was not the best diet because I was eating a very high percentage of fat. Because when I was ripping through anywhere from 6,000 to 8,000, 9,000 calories a day, sleeping very little, especially at the end. It was literally just a matter of trying to maximize calorie intake as much as possible. So she would basically load up, put an extra can of coconut milk in the smoothie and, put extra olive oil on pasta or things. So at one point, we had these sandwiches that I started calling fat sandwiches because it was basically avocados layered with vegan mayo. She sometimes would find vegan cheese somewhere and throw that in there.
Delicious.
And then it was also one of these things where I was like trying to it was so caloric dense. Yeah. Like it was 1,000 calories that I was eating. And I'm left with my stomach feeling. So it was really different because I had to be eating not only for the day that I was out there and the run that I was doing at the time, and the time on the trail that day, I was also eating for the next day, the day after that. So it was very unique. It wasn't the model vegan diet. Like I think I had 3 salads the whole time. Like Jenny would sometimes blend kale in a mini Vitamix that we had, or she would throw in, we had some green powders that she would use to kind of add. But the last thing I wanted to do was chew a salad. And some people brought out these amazing energy bars and really thankful that they did. But sometimes the real grain-filled or nut-filled bars were the last thing I wanted to eat. So even though I'm the normal, brown rice, whole grains, lots of greens and salads, on the trail, it was definitely not that. So
you were drinking cartons of ice cream too, right?
Yeah, so what would happen if Jenny could find it, which wasn't always, it wasn't often, where she could actually find vegan ice cream, but she would find coconut milk ice cream out there, and then it would basically melt because it wouldn't survive by the time I would finish. And it was just like a 600 calorie dump where I'd just drink it like a milkshake. Yeah, just drink like that. So it was unique in that I was trying to pack the most amount of calories, but again, not maybe necessarily the model diet for the everyday
You were just
person.
trying to survive and get them.
Yeah, exactly. Just get enough calories. Try to make sure those calories weren't the worst. I wasn't eating fast food all the time. Sometimes she would go and get me oatmeal at whatever fast food restaurant, or she would get certain things. Somebody would, bring hash browns. Again, really greasy, not necessarily the best type of food to be eating. But when you're on the trail, you're just ripping through calories. And that's the difference, I think, between somebody who's, maybe exercising 3 times a week versus somebody like myself, where I'm out there on the trail for 16 hours at a shot or more. Because people did come, from other parts of the area, and they drove in and they would sometimes bring me something. And that was amazing when somebody was like, hey, I brought you Thai food, or this guy who brought me vegan pizza and sushi, avocado sushi. And I was like, this is amazing. So there were those times when you just savor those flavors and foods.
And there was a chocolate cake at the top of one trail too, right?
Exactly. Somebody got tired of waiting for me because I was so far behind that day and just so late in the day, and they just left the chocolate cake up there. And it was there were so many people that came out and offered help in these little ways that we're so thankful for. Yeah. And that's what made it even more of a interesting journey. It wasn't just our journey. We kind of had these individuals coming in and let people in a way, and it was special for sure.